Most seniors don't live past 80. These 6 silent killers are why. Fix them now. Have you ever looked around and wondered why so many people seem to slow down, really slow down, after 70? Maybe you've seen friends or even family members who were full of life one year, and then the next, everything changed. Less energy, more doctor visits, a fall, a diagnosis, and suddenly life isn't what it used to be. It's heartbreaking. And here's the thing no one really talks about. Many of these changes don't happen overnight. They start with small, silent shifts in the body that build up over time. Most people don't even realize they're happening until it's too late. But they are there, and they can absolutely be prevented, or at the very least slowed down, if you know what to look out for. That's what we're going to talk about today. Because hitting 80 shouldn't be rare. It shouldn't be the exception. It should be the expectation. You've come this far. You deserve to enjoy the years ahead with energy, clarity, and independence. And that starts with understanding the silent killers that sneak up on people after 65. Now, I know the phrase silent killer sounds dramatic, but it fits. These aren't things that show up with flashing lights or loud alarms. They're quiet, subtle, but powerful. And if left unchecked, they can cut years off your life. The good news? Most of them can be managed or avoided altogether with a few simple, consistent habits. Let's start with one that affects more seniors than almost any other, and often goes completely unnoticed until it causes real damage. Chronic high blood pressure. Now, I'm not talking about the kind that makes your head pound or your chest ache. I'm talking about the kind you don't feel. The kind that quietly puts strain on your heart, your brain, your kidneys, day in and day out, without a single symptom. And because it's silent, it's easy to ignore. You feel fine, so you assume everything's okay. But inside your body, that pressure is wearing things down. It's like letting the air in your car tires get too high. You don't notice a problem at first, but over time, the wear and tear builds up, and suddenly something gives. That's what happens with high blood pressure. It's one of the top causes of strokes, heart attacks, and even cognitive decline in seniors. And yet, millions of people over 65 have it and don't even know. I met a man named Walter, 78 years old, sharp as a tack, still mowing his own lawn. He hadn't seen a doctor in years, said he felt just fine, but his daughter insisted he get a checkup. His blood pressure? 165 over 100. He was stunned. No headaches, no dizziness, nothing. But the doctor said he was a walking stroke risk. Thankfully, Walter made a few changes, less salt, more walks, regular check-ins, and brought it back down. It wasn't about fear. It was about giving his body what it needed to work better, longer. That's the lesson here. Don't wait until something hurts to take it seriously. Get it checked, even if you feel great, and especially if you feel great. Now let's talk about another silent killer that works in the background for years before it shows its face. Muscle loss, also called sarcopenia. Most people think of aging and picture wrinkles or gray hair. But what really ages you from the inside out is the slow, steady loss of muscle. And no, we're not talking about bodybuilding or looking like a fitness model. We're talking about the strength to carry groceries, to get out of a chair without effort, to catch yourself if you trip, the kind of strength that keeps you independent, the kind that keeps you from falling, from relying on walkers, from needing help with the basics. Here's the scary part. After age 30, the average person loses 3 to 5% of their muscle mass per decade. After 60, it speeds up. And if you're not doing something to build it back, you're losing it. Plain and simple. I once spoke with a woman named Clara. She was 74 and had started to notice her legs feeling weak on the stairs. She didn't think much of it as just aging, right? But then she had a minor fall in the kitchen. That turned into a hospital visit. That turned into weeks of rehab. All because her muscles weren't there to support her when she needed them most. Clara made a full recovery, thank goodness. And now, every morning, she does 15 minutes of light strength exercises. Nothing fancy, just a resistance band, some water bottles, and a chair. But it's made a huge difference. She says she feels more solid on her feet, and she hasn't had a fall since. The truth is, muscle isn't just about movement. It's protection. And you can rebuild it at any age. It's never too late to get stronger, one small step at a time. And finally, let's talk about one that often gets overlooked, but is just as dangerous as anything we've talked about: chronic inflammation. You've probably heard the word inflammation tossed around in health articles or commercials. But what does it actually mean for someone over 65? Imagine a small fire inside your body, burning slowly day after day. Not enough to knock you off your feet, but just enough to keep things slightly off. That's what chronic inflammation does. It's your immune system staying activated too long. And over time, that low-grade fire damages your joints, your arteries, even your brain. It's been linked to everything from arthritis and diabetes to Alzheimer's and depression. And it doesn't always come from big infections. Sometimes it comes from stress, from poor sleep, from a diet full of processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats. The body's meant to fight things and then rest. But in today's world, many people never turn that switch off. They're in a constant state of mild alarm. And that's exhausting for your organs. It accelerates aging from the inside. But here's the hopeful part. You can cool the fire. You can lower inflammation through small daily actions. Walking outside, cutting back on sugar, adding leafy greens or turmeric to your meals, sleeping better, laughing more, connecting with others. These aren't just feel-good tips. They're powerful tools to keep your body calm, balanced, and thriving. Now that we've looked at how high blood pressure, muscle loss, and inflammation quietly rob so many people of their strength in years, let's keep going. Because the next three factors, they're just as dangerous, but just as preventable when you know what to look for. Now that we've uncovered some of the quiet threats happening inside the body, things like high blood pressure, muscle loss, and chronic inflammation, let's keep this momentum going. Because awareness is only powerful if it leads to action. And the next silent killer we're going to talk about is something many people brush off as just part of getting older, when in reality it's one of the most preventable dangers out there: poor sleep quality. You might be thinking, I'm retired. I don't have to get up early anymore. Why is sleep such a big deal? But let me ask you this. When was the last time you woke up feeling truly refreshed? Like your body and brain had hit a reset button overnight? For many people over 65, that feeling becomes more and more rare. And not because they're sleeping less, but because they're sleeping worse. You see, your body uses sleep as its primary time to repair and restore. That's when your brain clears toxins, when your cells regenerate, when your immune system gets a boost. But if your sleep is light, fragmented, or cut short by things like bathroom trips, restless legs, or simply lying awake at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, your body misses out on that deep, healing rest. And over time, the effects build up. It might show up as forgetfulness, as low mood, as aches that don't go away. Poor sleep has been linked to higher risks of heart disease, Alzheimer's, depression, and even shorter life expectancy. But here's the encouraging part. Unlike many conditions that require medication, improving sleep often starts with small lifestyle shifts. Let me tell you about Harold. He was 72 and said he just couldn't sleep through the night anymore. He figured it was normal, but he also felt foggy every morning, had no energy to do much during the day, and was starting to isolate himself. His doctor checked him out, no major health issues, but suggested a few changes: less screen time before bed, no coffee after lunch, a darker bedroom, and sticking to the same bedtime every night. Within 3 weeks, Harold was sleeping better than he had in years. And more importantly, he felt like himself again. That's the power of quality sleep. It doesn't just make you feel rested, it keeps your body younger, longer. So don't accept poor sleep as just aging. You can take control, and you should. Now let's shift to something that hits even closer to the heart, literally and emotionally. One of the most painful silent killers after 65 isn't physical at all. It's loneliness. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone. Or you might not see anyone for days or weeks at a time, especially if family is far away or friends have passed on. And over time, that quiet disconnection can do real damage, not just to your mood, but to your health. Studies have shown that chronic loneliness increases the risk of heart disease, dementia, stroke, and even early death. In fact, some researchers say that long-term social isolation has the same impact on the body as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Think about that. But the tricky thing is, loneliness doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it shows up as fatigue, as disinterest, as not wanting to do things you once enjoyed. And it feeds on itself. The more disconnected you feel, the harder it is to reach out. But let me tell you something that might surprise you. You are not alone in feeling alone. So many people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s feel the same way, but nobody talks about it. And that's why it's so powerful to take that first step. Maybe it's calling an old friend. Maybe it's joining a group, a club, a class. Maybe it's volunteering somewhere where people truly need your wisdom and warmth. You don't need a huge social circle. You just need a few real connections that remind you that you matter. Because you do. I met a woman named Sylvia who was 79 and hadn't had company in her house for months. Her daughter lived across the country. Most of her close friends had passed away. She told me she felt like she was fading, like she was invisible. But then she joined a local walking group for seniors. She didn't know anyone at first, but by the third walk, people were greeting her by name. They asked about her week. She smiled again, and for the first time in a long time, she said she felt seen. That's what connection does. It breathes life back into you. It lowers blood pressure, reduces stress, boosts your immune system, and literally helps you live longer. Loneliness may be silent, but the cure is simple. Reach out. Even just a little, it can change everything. And that brings us to the final silent killer we'll explore in this part of our conversation. Sedentary living. Now, I know you've heard it before. Move more, stay active, exercise daily. But let's get real. After 65, it's not about six-pack abs or running marathons. It's about keeping your body in motion. Because the moment we stop moving, the body starts shutting things down. It starts small. You sit a little longer in your recliner. You skip a walk because it's too hot. You avoid stairs because of your knees. And before you know it, your muscles shrink, your joints stiffen, your balance gets shaky, and your confidence fades. But here's the beautiful part. You don't have to do a lot to make a big difference. Just standing up and moving every hour can improve circulation. A 20-minute walk can lift your mood, reduce blood sugar, and strengthen your heart. Stretching in the morning can ease pain and loosen your joints. Movement is medicine, and it's free, gentle, and available to you right now. Think of Ed, who's 76 and used to be a dancer. He stopped after a hip injury and slowly became less active. His energy dropped. His posture sagged. His doctor warned him that inactivity was doing more harm than the injury ever did. So Ed started small, just 5 minutes of walking in his living room during commercials. Then 10, then back to dancing, softly, carefully, joyfully. He didn't just feel younger, he looked it. That's the secret. Movement keeps you alive in every way that matters, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. Your body was made to move, and every step you take is a step away from decline. So if you're sitting right now, consider this your invitation. Stand up, stretch, roll your shoulders. Remind your body what it feels like to wake up. We've uncovered 3 more silent killers today: poor sleep, loneliness, and a sedentary lifestyle. And while they're quiet, they're not invisible anymore. You see them, you feel them, and now you have the power to change them. Because there's still one more thing we need to talk about. And it's the one that often hides behind all the others. It's sneaky, it's emotional. And it might be the most underestimated threat of all. We've talked about the body, we've talked about movement, sleep, even the pain of loneliness. But now we're going to talk about something deeper. Something that many people carry quietly for years without even realizing how heavy it is. The 6th silent killer is chronic stress. You might not think of stress as life-threatening. Maybe you think of it as just part of being human, worrying about the grandkids, about money, about health, about what comes next. But the truth is, when stress sticks around, when it becomes a constant hum in the background of your life, it starts to wear everything down. Your heart, your brain, your immune system, even your spirit. And here's the thing. After 65, many people assume life will become simpler. But for a lot of folks, the opposite happens. You lose roles you once had. You might retire and suddenly feel unneeded. You may face health scares, lose friends, feel unsure about your place in the world. And that kind of emotional stress builds up. Quietly, slowly, but powerfully. Think about it. How often does your mind replay something that happened yesterday or worry about something that might happen tomorrow? That's stress. And over time, it raises your blood pressure. It weakens your ability to fight illness. It clouds your memory. It speeds up aging, not just emotionally, but biologically. I met a man named Dennis, 81 years old. On paper, he was in good shape, ate well, stayed active, had regular doctor visits. But he was always worrying about his kids, about politics, about the state of the world. He couldn't relax. His wife said he hadn't laughed in years. Eventually, he started losing sleep. His digestion was off, and he began having chest pain, not from any physical condition, but from the constant stress his body had absorbed. His doctor recommended something simple: daily breathing exercises, a short gratitude journal, cutting back on the news, talking to a counselor once a week. At first, Dennis resisted. "That's not for men like me," he said. But within a few months, he started smiling again. He said he finally felt like he could breathe. Stress isn't weakness, it's human, but carrying it silently, endlessly, that's what breaks us down. That's what cuts life short before it's time. And the answer isn't to pretend everything's fine. It's to acknowledge the weight and find ways to let it go. Through conversation, through writing, through deep breathing, walking, prayer, laughter, art, whatever helps you exhale. Because when your mind softens, your body follows. The tension eases, the heart rate steadies, the immune system strengthens, and suddenly life feels possible again, not just bearable, but beautiful. So now take a deep breath with me, right here, right now. Let it out slowly. That's a reset. That's life returning to your body, one breath at a time. Let's take a moment to step back and see where we've been together. Over the course of this conversation, we've looked at 6 powerful preventable forces that often take years off a person's life after 65 without making a sound. High blood pressure, muscle loss, inflammation, poor sleep, loneliness, chronic stress. Each one alone is enough to slow you down. Together they create the perfect storm, a storm that many seniors don't even realize they're in until it's already taken too much. But here's the part I want you to hold on to. You are not powerless in this, not even close. In fact, the most powerful thing you can do is what you're doing right now, paying attention, listening, learning, and most importantly, acting. Not by making huge, overwhelming changes, but by taking one small step at a time. You don't have to become a new person overnight. You just have to start supporting the person you already are. The one who's made it through decades of life, challenges, triumphs, loss, love, and growth. The one who's still here, still breathing, still capable of thriving. You can check your blood pressure regularly and take it seriously. You can start using your muscles every day, even just with bodyweight exercises or a walk around the block. You can reduce inflammatory foods and add in more greens, berries, healthy fats. You can build a simple bedtime routine that helps your body truly rest. You can pick up the phone and call someone who might be missing you. You can step outside and breathe. You can stretch, move, sit in the sun, laugh out loud. These things aren't flashy. They don't cost much, but they're the building blocks of vitality. And more than that, they're acts of self-respect. Because living past 80 isn't about luck. It's about paying attention to the small things that quietly shape our future. And the good news? It's never too late to start. So here's what I invite you to do right now. Take inventory, not out of fear, but out of hope. What's one small thing you can do today to give your body a little more strength, your mind a little more peace, your heart a little more joy? Pick one. Start there, because that's how real change begins. And if this video has opened your eyes or touched your heart, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. What stood out to you? What will you take action on? Your words may just inspire someone else who's watching this, someone who needed a reminder that it's not too late. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss the next one, and you'll help this message reach even more people who need it. You deserve to live well, not just long, but fully, with strength, with clarity, with wow, not surviving, thriving. Here's to you, your body, your mind, your years ahead. Here's to living your best life at any age.